Would you like to try painting rocks but don't know where to start? Do you lack confidence in your drawing or painting skills, or are you struggling to get an end result that you're happy with? Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's Nairi and my aim is to help you improve your art skills so you can create painted rocks that you're proud of. It's my daughter's 3rd birthday coming up, so I'm going to be creating a series of birthday themed painted rocks for a kid's treasure hunt that are all very quick and easy to paint, require minimum drawing or painting skills, and are all created with the same colour palette, which limits just how many materials you need to create all of them. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I created this balloon rock. I'll take you through the whole process step by step, so let's get started. First, you're going to need a rock, ideally an oval shaped one with a curved front, as this will help with creating the sense of perspective. You'll need white acrylic paint and a flat brush for applying the base coat, pencil and eraser for a quick sketch up of what you're going to be colouring in, an assortment of bright coloured acrylic paint colours. I've used Uni Posca paint pens. The colours I've used in this one are listed below in the description. I tend to use a mix of PC3M and PC5M paint pens, but I also use a fine black paint pen and a fine white paint pen. For this, I've also used a Uni Posca pen, but it's a PC1MR thickness, which is as fine as they come, and finally, you'll need a sealer. Step 1, the first thing you're going to need is a rock, which I buy from my local landscaping supply or hardware store. For this design, you'll want to use a rock with a curved front edge, as this will help with creating the sense of perspective. Step 2 is preparing the rock for painting. There are 2 things to do when you're preparing a rock. First, give it a quick wash in warm soapy water. I just use dishwashing liquid and a kitchen scouring pad and then rinse it off and leave it to dry. Once your rock's dry, I recommend applying 2 base coats of white acrylic paint. This is not essential, but it will make your colours much more vibrant. For this design, I base coat the entire front face of the rock, and I use a flathead brush, as this gives you the best result, as it helps to spread the paint smoothly, giving you a nice finish. Before you start applying a base coat, make sure your rock isn't hot from sitting in the sun to dry, as this makes the paint dry too quickly and will limit the amount of time you have to spread and smooth out the paint. Finally, it's really important to let your base coat dry completely before moving on to the design. The first thing you need to understand when drawing this rock is how perspective works. Put simply, things appear to get smaller as they get further away until they finally vanish at some point. It is a way of drawing objects on a flat piece of paper or rock so that they have a realistic 3-dimensional feel. So let's talk through how to do this while drawing the design onto paper. First, draw a rough shape of the rock you have selected to paint. Next, we're going to make the sun the vanishing point, so put a dot near the top of your rock, off centre to the right hand side. This will be the point that all of our lines will converge to, and will be the position of the sun. Next, we want to draw a curve that is an equal distance at all points from the vanishing point, near the bottom of your rock. You can use a compass if you have one, or a piece of string, or simply your eye. This will be the bottom curve of your clouds. Next, draw some curves or bumps to give the top of the clouds some shape. I would now draw in the sun. For this, you want to do a starburst shape around the vanishing point. The last step is to draw the balloons. You can have as many balloons as you like, positioned anywhere you like. The key thing you need for it to look good is to get the perspective right. So the balloons need to get smaller as they get closer to the sun. To help you with this, if you find it hard, I'd recommend drawing a number of equally spaced lines coming from the vanishing point. This will give you a guide to both the size the balloon should be and the orientation that will look best. The balloon should be the width of the gap between the 2 lines. If you keep the sides of the balloon on each of the lines each side, then the balloon orientation will also look right. Once you're happy drawing the design on paper, repeat the same steps directly onto your rock. The next step now is just to get on and start painting the rock. I've started by painting the background first. All of the colours on this rock are solid colour, so there is no shading required. I've applied 2 coats of the blue to get a more even finish with better colour intensity. Next, take your white paint pen and colour over any pencil lines you don't need and colour in the clouds. When painting in general, it is best to work from your background to your foreground, so for this rock that's the sky first, then the clouds and the sun, and finally the balloons. You'll notice when I'm painting the clouds, I'm going over the blue sky and the paint pen is picking up some of this blue colour. Don't worry, you won't ruin your pens or your rock. Simply scribble on a piece of paper until the paint is flowing a clean white again, and wait until your first coat of white on the rock is dry before applying your next coat. By the way, I often use a hairdryer to speed up the drying process. Keep applying as many coats of the white paint as you need to get nice, clean, crisp white clouds. Now I use a PC 1MR white Posca paint pen to do more precise, fine white lines from the sunburst. Next, I paint the balloons in an assortment of bright colours. You can use whatever colours you like or follow my selection. I'm leaving a small arc on the top right of each balloon white as a highlight. Make sure you apply a minimum of 2 coats of colour on the balloons to get them bright, vibrant and even. On the smaller balloons it can be hard to leave a white highlight. Don't worry, you can add this over the top later. I also use the PC 1MR white paint pen to tidy up and add in the white highlights to the balloons. Finally, I do my black outlining with a Uni Posca black PC 1MR pen. Don't worry if you make a mistake outlining, we all make mistakes, and any mistake can be easily fixed. Just get the black line as you would like it, let it dry, and come back with a white paint pen over the parts of the black line you don't want. You'll likely need to do a few coats of white before putting the colour of the balloons back over the top. Remember to clean off your white paint pen on paper if it gets dirty. Lastly, I add the strings to the balloons with a white PC 1MR paint pen, again doing a couple of coats, and add a dotted line from each of the sun's rays. The final step is to seal your rock. Before you put your rock outside in the elements, or inside for that matter, you want to make sure the paint is protected by applying a sealer. I use an exterior grade spray varnish. These should ideally be non-yellowing and have UV stabilisers. Before applying, ensure your paint is completely dry. Then I like to apply 2 coats of a gloss varnish over all painted areas. The sealer I'm using requires 20 minutes dry time between coats. And make sure you apply the sealant outside where you are well ventilated and have a clean, dry, non-fluffy drop cloth underneath. If you can apply light coats, this will avoid the varnish from running. And that's it. If you've enjoyed this video and want to see more, please click like and the subscribe button below.